So, how's your day going?
It was good. I had to make the best of today. I had to choose to have a good day today.
Yeah, me too.
What about you?
My day was pretty smooth, nothing too big, but I do have a question for you.
Oh, God. Here we go with these questions. What we got?
So, say you are out to dinner and a person comes up to me, or say opposite sex comes up to me and they're talking to me and they say, hey, I remember you, or I thought that was you, how you been? And they don't say nothing to you. How would you feel about that? Because clearly they can see we're on a date. Do you
or we're
think
just
that,
together and you don't know.
We're just out. Do you think it's a proper etiquette for people to acknowledge when someone is out with someone to say, hey, excuse me, how are you? Hey, I thought you looked familiar. Go that way, or for them just to act like you're not even there and just come up to me like, hey, I thought I recognized you. How you been? What you doing? Like, what's up to you? How would you feel about that? If someone was to come up to us as we're sitting here, not knowing if we're together or not, and was trying to talk to me, or not even trying to talk to me, like take me on a date or anything.
It's like I'm not even sitting there.
Yeah, they're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. I mean, it's proper etiquette to speak at everybody at the table. I feel like it's a great thing to do. Because if you come to the table and depending on their energy, and so I know we actually experienced this when we were out, and we was out with one of our friends and in their date, and somebody walked up to the table and pretty much only spoke to their date and didn't say anything to nobody at the table, like, hey, y'all, how y'all doing? It was just like, oh, what's going on? It's not an obligation. It's not something that I expect. When it's it's not something that I expect, especially if it's like more of a group setting, but it is a proper etiquette to speak to people. Now, if it was just me and you at the table, and then some girl or guy walks up to the table and they're just like, oh my God, Kaden, what's up? Like, I haven't seen you forever. How you been? And then they give you a hug and sweep your feet off the ground. Like, I'm different. I may chill. I don't know. I don't know how I would act. I don't know how I would react in that situation. I would react one of two ways. In that situation, I would either, one, ask who they are, like,
as they're at the table, or
yeah,
once they leave?
I'll speak to them like, hey, how you, like, I would stand up and shake their hand. Hey, how you doing? My name's Ethan. What's your name? Like, to teach them better manners.
So you feel like they should. So you feel like anyone that comes up should be able to do that.
Absolutely right. Yes, I'm making my presence known.
Right, you'll make your presence known, but I'm saying you feel like they should. People should do that.
Yes, I also think that it's also the spouse. I do think that, especially in that setting, yes, if it's just me and you and we're at a table, you should come and speak. And I feel like it's proper etiquette. If I seen one of my female friends, or even if it's a male friend, I'm still gonna speak to whoever they're sitting at the table with. It's out of respect. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Or introduce. So, for example, if they're coming up to me, then that's when I should be like, hey, and then like, hey, this is Ethan. Or introduce you whoever you are. Hey, this is my friend Ethan. Or hey, this is my husband Ethan. Especially if it's a friend.
You should introduce. I think it's better etiquette for you to tell me who they are first.
Right, and I feel like they should. I feel like whoever the person is coming to should do that. So if a girl came up to you, is it just because it's a guy that's doing it, or if it was a female, do you think it still applies?
Well, for you, it kind of goes both ways. So essentially, it doesn't matter if it's a male or a female, but at the same time, on the same token though, even if it's a guy walking up to say what's up to me, like one of my homies, I'd be like, oh, like for example, I talk my coworkers, right? I'd be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? This is Mac from work or whatever, this is my wife Victoria, hey bro, meet my wife or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I would do that. I'm gonna definitely do that if it's another woman. It doesn't matter if I know her from work, if I know her from the past, if she's an ex, whoever she is. But the way I'm a little bit different. I analyze things a little bit deeper. So for you, I'm gonna to give you that security. I'm gonna introduce you to by explaining to you who she is. I don't have to tell her this is my wife. I'm gonna tell you, hey, hey babe, by the way, this is my coworker, Erica from such and such, this is my wife Victoria, you know what I'm saying? And then we go from there. I'm not gonna make it socially awkward either, but I personally feel like as my spouse, to make sure you feel reassured, I'm not about to be like, oh, hey, Erica, by the way, this is my wife, like Victoria or Kaden, like, Kaden, what's up? This is Erica. Because then you're going to be like, well, why did you have to, like, you know, it could, if you are like a worrying type of person, it could put a question in there, well, like, why did you make it, you said wife very quick just to, you could, if for people that may have insecurities or have concerns, so to make you, honestly, in the way that I would play that card, but I would just I would explain who they are, and then, you know, blah, blah. However, though, I do feel that when you change genders,
Yeah.
like when you like not change genders as in transitioning, but I'm talking about like when you actually talk, like when you talk about, like, for example, I know everybody's been like making memes about this whole Megan Good, you know, situation, whatever, and I don't think that she handled that situation correctly. I also feel that
Do you feel like everything happened so fast that she, like, how would she have? Because also looking at the video, so the video, I don't know if you guys seen it, but we'll put like a little clip of it. So I don't know his name, I'm sorry, but do you know his name? I don't know the actor's name, but an actor the actor that Megan and this actor were in a movie together, so they have done work together. So they're pretty good. Probably have a good relationship, friendship. So he came up and probably just gave her a hug and like was like picked her up to the point where her feet were off the ground. She was laughing, everything. But they're friends. I feel like they were friends first, so that's where that came from. I don't think there was anything to that. But the guy didn't acknowledge the guy Megan was with, and then he just dapped someone else up. So I think what made that. I mean, it was just a little video, so we really don't know. Maybe he did end up saying something to him later. But if we go strictly just off of the clip, moment, he didn't even dap that person up and dap someone else up. Yeah, so essentially, out of the 1, 2, 3, 4 people that were there, he was one person didn't get dapped up. I feel like that. I do understand that. And then you could tell in his face he didn't say nothing. And I know we all peeped. You said you peeped Megan's face where she was like
looking at him like, ooh, I know. You got a reason to feel some type of way too.
But it's like, because it happened so fast. Because like after he did that, do you think she should have been like, hey, this is this person?
Yeah. Like, hey, by the way, here's my husband. Say hi. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Or my date or whoever.
I'm not gonna let another woman come up to a table. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. She could have handled that situation better. It's the actor from Jumping the Broom. It's the light skin. I'm not really.
We're gonna put his name in it.
Yeah, we'll just put the name in there because I'm like I could sing a song verbatim, but either way, not know the name of it or know the artist. But essentially, like with that situation, I think that. I think that her husband handled it properly. He could have handled it other ways.
Are they married?
I think they are. I think that they are married. But that's how I don't really keep up with.
We'll just say her date.
Yeah, but essentially, like, I do feel that he handled it properly. He kept his cool, even though it visually pissed him off. He's still a human being. He gets to show that he's frustrated. And there's another man swooping his wife off of her feet, and she's enjoying the moment. Like, that for me, that would make me have a lot of questions. Like, and on top of that, when I talked about how we represent each other when we're out, now the world is finding a reason to clown him over this situation because his wife didn't set a boundary. Like, she should have been like, she should have set that, even as friends, she should have set that boundary, because if you take the roles and you swap them, now if it was another actress and she came up and like, here, I want to show, because you can't really, because this is how the equivalent of what he did is what a woman would do to a man, because a woman's not gonna be like, hey, what's up, oh my God, but like. So if we walked up to each other, how women do it, be like, oh my God, hey, how are you doing? Oh my God. And you put the bodies together, like, you know what I'm saying? And, or she might, hold on, stand back up, hold my arms. Or she might be like, let's say if you gave me a hug, she might, like, you know, we do a hug or whatever. Well, usually women are underneath, so you give me a hug, and then you're like, oh my God, how have you been? And then they're like, oh, it's good to see you. And they touch your chest, and women touch when they. So honestly, the equivalent,
and I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, but I'm not. But then she literally goes straight past you, doesn't acknowledge your presence, goes straight past you and to the next person.
Yeah. As
a spouse, you're gonna be like, well, they got some type of history. They may be friends, But they didn't probably. Even Drake said it in one of his songs. He was like, "I know them kind of hugs, like I used to, like you know what I'm saying, like them type of hugs." You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, don't get me wrong. Technically, was it anything done wrong? No. However, the etiquette was off. And her as a wife, she should have, like, I get that they gave him a hug. She should have been like slapped his shoulder, like put me down.
And that goes to J. Cole, because there was another clip a while ago. I don't know if I can find that one, but he was talking to somebody. The wife and the spouse, or he was talking to a couple, and he even properly gave her a handshake and was still acknowledging. I forget the whole scenario, but either way, his etiquette was proper. He acknowledged the person, and then he also kept talking, and then he walked away. Versus when you are in a relationship,
textbook. That's how you do it. When
you are in a relationship versus when you're single, I think there is a certain way you do have to carry yourself. And to be honest, that was something that was honestly hard for me in my relationship, because I can understand the relationship. If her and that guy, Megan and the guy, the actor, if they had a great relationship and it's just like they're just like really cool friends, then I can understand that.
But you're married now,
but
though.
also
You're married now.
Yeah, so I
all
understand.
That goes out the window.
I understand, like,
friendship, all of that.
Because I don't think there's one friend that you would be okay with if they pick me up.
Right. Aaron's not picking you up. Darrell, I mean, like he might get a little pass, but he even know that there's a certain etiquette when it comes to approaching you as my wife. So like all of my male friends are not about this. Yeah,
there's a certain way. And for you too.
I'm gonna be honest. Since we've been together, there's only been one man that has picked you up, gave you a hug, and twirled you in a circle.
My brother.
That was your brother, and that was the only one I gave a pass to. And even I had to tell myself that's your brother, because it just I'm a human being at the end of the day, and I was like, no, that's her brother. Give her a pass on that one. Like, it's her brother. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, if another man was to do that. But
it could be like her brother.
It ain't her brother though. But
I get it. I feel like there are certain things that you do have to pull back on in a relationship to also make sure that your partner is not putting your partner in an uncomfortable situation, especially if you are an influencer, or if you are a celebrity, if you're out in those lights, it can make the other person, especially if you already had a spouse and then now you're with a new spouse. Sometimes it is quicker for people not to like the new spouse, or that it still be attached to the old spouse. So you have to make sure that you're giving that new person, whoever you're dating, pretty much the upper hand as far as like, all right, well, we're together, so I'm not going to let someone else do certain things that they would do if I was single. And that goes into like relationships of how do you feel about a situation where I was messing around with a friend, and now me, girl or guy, in my position, and then now we're together. Do you feel like it's still okay for me to be close with that friend?